Do you know what it feels like? To be slapped by your own son after giving him everything you had? He called me a burden, then stole $15,000 from my savings and flew to St. Lucia with his wife, while I was still cutting my birthday cake. I gave up my teaching career, skipped dinners, and wore patched-up clothes just to raise him right. But somehow, that never earned me respect. If you're a mother who's ever been ignored, dismissed, or used by your grown children, stay with me. I'll show you how I froze his accounts, exposed his lies in front of our whole community, and found the courage to finally reclaim my dignity. He tore our family photo album in front of guests, shredded pictures of my late husband, but I stood tall, held up a letter his father wrote before he passed, and said what I should have said years ago. If you've ever stayed silent just to keep the peace, don't scroll. Your story deserves to be heard too. Before we dive into the rest of the story, tell me something first. Who's the most important person in your life right now? I'd really love to know. Leave a comment below so I can send you a little note in the next part, just for you. Your voice matters more than you think. Let's begin this journey together. My 65th birthday cake glows with candles, flickering like tiny stars on June 19, 2024. Why does Nathan's smile, sharp across the room, feel colder than Pittsburgh's winter? I stand in my suburban home, its faded blue paint peeling like old memories. Jazz hums softly from the living room stereo, a gentle backdrop to the chatter of my birthday party. The kitchen smells of warm apple pie, slices neatly arranged on a platter, my hands still dusted with flour. I smooth my apron, glancing at the framed photo of James on the mantel. His kind eyes seem to hold secrets, ones he took with him when he left this world. I shake the thought away, my heart pinching. "Clara, you spoil them," Nancy teases, her voice warm as she leans against the counter. Her gray curls bounce, her wit as sharp as ever at 64. She's my best friend, the one who knows the sting of a child's neglect. Her son hasn't called in years. I smile, but it falters when Nathan sidles up, his tie loose, his cologne too strong. "Mom, this house could fix our money troubles," he says, his tone casual, like he's asking for a glass of water. His eyes, blue like mine, don't meet my gaze. I remember bailing him out of gambling debts in his 20s, my savings drained to keep him afloat. Now at 42, he's still reaching. My chest tightens, a familiar hurt blooming. "Nathan, it's my home," I say softly, brushing it off. He shrugs, drifting back to the crowd. Love, I think, shouldn't feel like a transaction. The party buzzes, laughter rising over the clink of glasses. I weave through guests, my skirt swishing, offering pie slices. Kayla, Nathan's wife, stands by the fireplace, her manicured nails tapping her phone. At 38, she moves like she owns my home, her perfume sharp. I catch her whispering to a guest, "Clara's so out of touch." Her lips curve, dismissive. My fingers curl around a serving spoon, the sting of her words cutting deeper than I expect. I gave up my teaching career for Nathan and Lauren, poured my life into this family, and yet I'm fading in their eyes. The front door creaks open, and Lauren rushes in, her coat damp from Pittsburgh's summer drizzle. At 40, her face carries guilt, her eyes avoiding mine. "I'm sorry, Mom," she murmurs, hugging me tightly. She's been distant since I missed her 16th birthday, working late to pay bills. I pat her back, swallowing the ache. Behind her, Ava, my 16-year-old granddaughter, beams, her braids swinging. "You look amazing, Grandma," she says, her voice bright. She loves my old teaching stories, the ones about chalk-dusted hands and eager students. Her warmth eases the hurt, a flicker of hope in my chest. I slip into the dining room, refilling glasses, my smile practiced. Nathan's voice carries from the living room, low and firm, talking to Kayla. "Mom's too old to need all this space," he says. I freeze, a napkin crumpling in my hand. Kayla's laugh is sharp, like glass breaking. My throat tightens, tears pricking. I gave them everything. Years of skipped vacations, patched clothes, extra shifts. Now I'm just space they want to claim. Love, I think, shouldn't feel like a burden. I set the napkin down, my fingers trembling. Resolve sparks, quiet but firm. I need to talk to Nathan to make him see me, not just this house. But Lauren's here, and I don't want to ruin her visit. I glance at her, laughing with Ava, and my heart wavers. Maybe tomorrow, I tell myself, the hurt deepening a weight I carry alone. Nancy finds me, her hand on my arm. "My son stopped calling years ago," she says softly, her eyes kind. "Don't let them dim you, Clara." Her words linger, a lifeline. I nod, squeezing her hand, our shared pain knitting us closer. Lauren approaches, her face soft. "I should have been here sooner, Mom," she says, her voice thick. I see her 16th birthday in her eyes, the cake I never baked, and my chest aches. Reconciliation hovers, fragile but possible. Imagine cutting your birthday cake and feeling something crack deeper than icing. Ever had a moment where joy shifts, just like that, into dread? If you've ever sensed a storm behind someone's smile, drop a 5 in the comments. What comes next? Even I wasn't ready for. The party hums on, jazz weaving through conversations. I'm about to cut the cake when my phone pings in my apron pocket. I pull it out, the screen glowing. A text alert from my bank, an unauthorized charge of $500. My breath catches, my fingers hovering. It's probably a mistake, I tell myself, but Nathan's cold smile flashes in my mind. I stare at the alert, my pulse quickening, the room fading around me. I tuck the phone away, my hands unsteady. The candles flicker, casting shadows on the cake. I want to believe Nathan wouldn't betray me, but doubt gnaws, sharp and cold. I look at him across the room, his laugh too loud, Kayla's hand on his arm. My resolve hardens, a quiet promise to myself. I'll check the account tonight, I decide, but for now, I blow out the candles, the crowd clapping. The wish I make is silent, to be seen, not just used. Am I their mother, or just the keeper of their comfort? The question lingers, heavy as the Pittsburgh night pressing against my windows. I cut the cake, my smile tight, and serve slices, my heart a tangle of hurt and hope. As I hand Ava a plate, her grin warm, I cling to her light, but the bank alert burns in my mind. Clara, I think, staring at the glowing screen later, is Nathan hiding something worse? A $15,000 charge lights up my phone. Did Nathan steal my life savings? I sit on the edge of my bed, the Pittsburgh night humming through an open window. Moonlight spills across my quilt, casting shadows on the remnants of my 65th birthday party. Crumpled napkins, a half-eaten apple pie downstairs. My fingers trace the chipped edge of James's old Pittsburgh Steelers mug on my dresser, his warning from years ago echoing, "Nathan's greed runs deep, Clara." He bailed Nathan out of gambling debts once, and I paid the price, dipping into my savings. I push the memory down, my heart pounding. My bedroom is quiet, too quiet, the jazz from the party now silenced. I grip my phone, the screen glaring with a bank alert. $15,000 charged for St. Lucia airline tickets and a hotel deposit. My breath catches, sharp and cold. I rush to the dresser, yanking open the drawer where I keep my credit card, tucked behind James's mug for safekeeping. The envelope is empty. My savings, 40 years of skipped vacations, mended clothes, extra shifts, were my dignity, my security. Gone, stolen. My knees wobble, and I sink onto the bed, the quilt soft under my trembling hands. "Nathan," I think, "how could you?" I dial the bank, my voice shaking. "Lock it, it's stolen," I say, barely above a whisper. The operator's calm tone steadies me, but my pulse races. The card is frozen, but the betrayal burns. Nancy's knock at the door startles me. She steps in, her gray curls catching the moonlight, her eyes sharp with concern. "Clara, what's wrong?" she asks, sitting beside me. I show her the alert, my fingers unsteady. "Nathan took my card," I choke out. Nancy's jaw tightens, her own pain flashing. Her son took her savings years ago, leaving her alone. "Don't let them crush you, Clara," she says, her voice fierce. "You're stronger than this." My hands shake, anger rising like a tide. Trust, I muse, is fragile as glass. Downstairs, laughter drifts up, sharp and careless. I creep to the stairwell, unseen, my nightgown brushing my ankles. Nathan and Kayla are in the living room, packing designer suitcases, their voices giddy. Kayla holds up a silk scarf, smirking. Clara never spends her money anyway. Her words slice, cold and dismissive. I clutch the banister, my nails digging into wood. I gave them a home, meals, my heart, and they see me as a vault to crack. Nathan zips a bag, his laugh forced, his eyes darting. He's 42, but I see the boy I raised, the one I bandaged after falls, now blind to my sacrifices. My heart hardens, a quiet fury settling in. Nancy touches my arm, her presence grounding. "He took my son's place once," she murmurs, her voice low. "Stole my savings, left me to rebuild. You don't owe Nathan your silence." Her words spark something in me, a flicker of defiance. I nod, my throat tight. I want to storm downstairs, demand answers, but their suitcases are by the door, ready for St. Lucia. They're leaving, escaping with my money. My anger simmers, but I hold back. The party's mess, plates, cups, my broken trust, still scattered around me. I return to my bedroom, the moonlight now harsh. I reach for James's mug again, seeking comfort, but my fingers brush something else. A small, locked diary tucked behind it. My breath hitches. James kept this hidden, his neat handwriting a ghost of his presence. I trace the lock, my mind racing. Did he write about Nathan? About the greed he saw coming? The diary feels heavy, a secret waiting to be cracked. I set it on the quilt, my hands steadier now. I've frozen the card, a small act of defiance, but it's not enough. Nathan's laughter below grates, his entitlement a weight I've carried too long. I sit, staring at the diary, the bank alert still glowing on my phone. Nancy lingers by the door, her eyes soft but urging. "You're not alone, Clara," she says. I nod, but the hurt cuts deep, a wound I didn't see coming. I think of Lauren, her guilty hug earlier, and Ava's warm smile. They're my light. But Nathan's shadow looms larger. Did I raise a son or a thief who calls me mom? The question stings, raw and real, as I clutch James's diary. What secrets did he hide about Nathan? Nathan's laughter echoes from the airport, a cruel sound carried by my phone. Why did he call me a burden? Rain patters on the windows of my Pittsburgh living room, the soft rhythm matching the ache in my chest. The post-party mess surrounds me. Crumpled farmers' market napkins litter the table. Half-empty coffee cups sit cold. I sink into the couch, the fabric worn from years of family gatherings. James's diary, found last night behind his Steelers mug, rests on my lap, its pages whispering of Nathan's past debts. He borrowed thousands in his 20s, gambling away what I scrimped to save. James wrote it down, a warning I ignored. My fingers tighten, hurt swelling like the rain outside. Lauren sits across from me, her eyes red. At 40, she carries guilt like a shadow, her hands twisting a napkin. "I should have seen your strength, Mom," she sobs, her voice breaking. "I resented you for missing my 16th birthday working late. I was so wrong." Her words pierce, a reminder of the nights I traded family time for bills. Ava, her 16-year-old daughter, nods beside her braids swaying. "You're my hero, Grandma," she says, her voice soft but sure. She loves my teaching stories, the ones about shaping young minds. Her loyalty warms me, a flicker of hope amid the storm. I pat Lauren's hand, my throat tight, wanting to mend what's broken between us. The rain taps louder, mirroring my turmoil. I pull out my phone, my fingers trembling, and dial Nathan. He's in St. Lucia now, living off my stolen $15,000. The call connects, his voice sharp through the static. "What, Mom?" he snaps, impatient. I swallow, my voice steady despite the hurt. "Nathan, why did you take my card?" He scoffs, his laugh cutting like glass. "You're a burden, Mom. Unlock the card or we're stuck here." The words land like a slap, stealing my breath. I flash back to a brighter day. Nathan, a boy of 10, clapping as I held my teaching award, his eyes proud. Now, in my mind, he throws that award to the floor, its glass frame shattering, my pride with it. I grip the phone, tears burning. "No, Nathan," I say, my voice low. He hangs up, the silence deafening. Nancy bursts through the door, her coat dripping, her gray curls wild. At 64, she's fierce, her own son's neglect, fueling her fire. "Clara, I heard you on the phone," she says, her eyes blazing. "Show him you're not weak." She sits beside me, her hand firm on mine. Her son stole from her too, left her to rebuild alone, and her strength pulls me forward. I stand, my legs shaky, and cross to the mantel where my teaching award sits, its glass still whole but heavy with memory. Nathan's insult, "You're a burden," replays, each word a denial of my sacrifices. I gave up my career, my dreams to raise him and Lauren, and he dares to call me a weight. My anger surges, hot and fierce, drowning the hurt. I clutch the award, its edges cold, and turn to Nancy. "I won't let him erase me," I vow, my voice steady now. Lauren rises, her face fierce. "I'm with you, Mom," she says, her guilt giving way to resolve. Ava nods, her eyes wide, clutching her notebook where she jots my stories. Strength, I think, is louder than silence. I set the award down, my fingers brushing James's diary. As I open it, a folded letter slips out, addressed to me in his neat script. My breath catches, my heart racing. Did James know Nathan would hurt me this way? The paper crinkles, fragile as my trust. Nancy leans close, her voice soft. "My son took more than money," she says, her eyes distant. "He took my faith and family. Don't let Nathan do that to you." Her words bind us, two mothers scarred but standing. Lauren steps forward, her voice thick. "I was angry about that birthday, Mom, but I see now. You worked for us." Her support, tentative but real, sparks reconciliation. A bridge we're building. I nod, holding the letter, my anger hardening into resolve. Nathan's cruelty, his shattered award in my mind, pushes me to act. I need to know what James wrote, what truth he saw in Nathan's heart. The rain slows, a faint drizzle now, but the air feels heavy. I glance at the napkins, their bright patterns a mockery of the joy I planned for this party. My phone lies silent, Nathan's voice still ringing in my ears. I want to confront him, to make him see the mother I am, but he's an ocean away, spending my life's work. My resolve grows, a fire kindled by his betrayal. I'll find answers in James's letter, I decide, and plan my next step. Was my love just a weight they threw away? The question cuts, raw and urgent as I unfold the letter, its words waiting to reveal Nathan's true heart. James's letter trembles in my fingers. Did he see Nathan's betrayal before I did? Moonlight spills through lace curtains in my Pittsburgh bedroom, casting a soft glow on the quilt. The quiet wraps around me, broken only by the faint hum of the city night. I sit on the bed's edge, James's diary open on my lap, its faded ink a whisper of truths I wasn't ready to face. He wrote of Nathan's gambling debts, money we scraped together to save him, a burden that strained our marriage. I trace the words, my heart heavy with the memory of slow dancing with James at a local diner, his laughter warm against my cheek. That was before Nathan's greed cast its shadow. I unfold the letter, James's neat script stark against the paper. "Nathan's greed will hurt you, Clara. Keep the house safe," he wrote. My breath catches, a sob stifled. I see James's tired eyes, his distance in those final years, worn by Nathan's endless demands. He bailed Nathan out, but I paid too. My teaching dreams traded for extra shifts to rebuild our savings. "You tried to warn me," I whisper, my voice cracking. The hurt of Nathan's theft, his cruel, "You're a burden" from yesterday churns into anger, hot and fierce. My son, my boy, has become a stranger. The door creaks and Lauren steps in, her face pale. At 40, she carries guilt like a weight, her eyes red from crying. "Mom," she chokes, sinking beside me. "I should have seen your strength. I resented you for missing my 16th birthday, working late." Her words sting, a fresh wound. I worked to keep a roof over her and Nathan, but she saw only my absence. My heart aches, the sense of being undervalued cutting deep. Ava follows, her 16-year-old face soft, clutching a notebook where she writes my teaching tales. She hands me a folded note, her handwriting bold. "You're my hero, Grandma." My throat tightens, warmth easing the pain. I hug Ava, her braid brushing my cheek, and nod at Lauren. "I did it for you," I say, my voice soft. Her remorse, raw and real, softens the blow, a step toward healing. Nancy arrives, her gray curls damp from the drizzle, carrying a thermos of tea. At 64, her wit hides a scar. Her son stole her savings, leaving her trust in tatters. She pours tea, the steam curling, and sits across from me. "We'll expose Nathan at a cleanup party, Clara," she says, her eyes glinting. "Show them your fire." Her plan sparks in me, a call to action. I grip James's letter, my fingers steady now. "He's taken enough," I say, my voice firm. Truth, I think, cuts sharper than lies. Nancy nods, her own pain fueling her resolve. "My son took my savings and never looked back," she says, her voice low. "Don't let Nathan steal your spirit." Her words bind us, mothers forged in betrayal but unyielding. I flip through James's diary, seeking more answers, when a crumpled coffee shop receipt slips out, dated last month. My pulse quickens. The amount, $200, hints at Nathan's recent troubles, money he didn't have. I recall his tense glances at the party, his cold smile. Has he been hiding more debts? The receipt, creased and stained, feels like a clue to his unraveling. My anger hardens, a fire stoked by James's warning. Nathan's greed isn't new. It's a pattern, one I've ignored too long. Lauren touches my arm, her eyes fierce. "I'm with you, Mom," she vows, her guilt giving way to resolve. Ava nods, clutching her notebook, her loyalty a beacon. I look at them, my daughter and granddaughter, and feel a surge of determination. I won't let Nathan's betrayal define me. I'll confront him, expose his theft, and reclaim my place. The letter in my hand is James's shield, his love protecting me still. I set the diary down, my resolve a quiet roar. The moonlight fades, clouds rolling in. I cross to my desk, the tea cooling beside me, and open my laptop. The screen glows, a bank email waiting, unopened. My heart skips, dread mixing with my anger. What new secret does Nathan hide? Did James see the sun I was blind to? The question hangs, heavy as the Pittsburgh night, as I hover over the email, ready to face whatever truth it holds. A bank email glows on my laptop, revealing Nathan's $20,000 debt. How many lies has he woven around me? Morning light glints off the coffee pot in my Pittsburgh kitchen, casting a warm sheen across the counter. A photo of the Carnegie Bridge hangs on the wall, its steel arches grounding my resolve. The crumpled coffee shop receipt from James's diary sits beside my mug, a $200 charge hinting at Nathan's reckless spending. I remember his tense glances at my birthday party, his cold smile masking secrets. My savings, years of clipped coupons, skipped dinners out, late nights grading papers, were my shield, not his playground. I gripped the counter, anger surging like a river breaking its banks. Lauren sits at the table, her eyes fierce at 40. "We'll fight this together, Mom," she vows, her voice steady. Her guilt over resenting my absence at her 16th birthday fuels her support now. Ava, my 16-year-old granddaughter, nods, her braids swinging. "You're stronger than him, Grandma," she says, her voice bright with admiration. She sees me as a role model, her notebook filled with my teaching stories. Their presence steadies me, But the email's numbers burn. $20,000 in debt, hidden by Nathan. My anger peaks, a fire fed by his betrayal. I gave up my teaching dreams for him and Lauren, and he repays me with theft. Nancy strides in, her gray curls bouncing, a planner in hand. At 64, her strategic mind is sharp, honed by her own son's betrayal. He stole her savings, leaving her to rebuild. Clara, we'll show everyone Nathan's true colors at a cleanup party, she says, her eyes glinting. I nod, my jaw tight. The receipt from yesterday, tucked in James's diary, warned of Nathan's troubles. This email confirms it, a pattern of greed I ignored too long. My resolve hardens, a vow to protect my legacy, not just my money. Across the ocean in St. Lucia, Nathan sits at a seaside restaurant, the turquoise waves mocking his tension. His card declines, the waiter's polite smile fading. Kayla's friends, all bronzed and smug, laugh sharply. "Mama cut you off?" one jeers, sipping a cocktail. Nathan's face reddens, his voice snapping. "She's ruining us." Kayla, her lips curled, leans in. "Clara's too stingy to live," she sneers, loud enough for Nathan's phone to catch it, still open from his call to me. The words slice, a cruel dismissal of my sacrifices. My fingers clench, imagining their laughter, my undervaluation laid bare. The audience's anger would flare here, seeing a mother betrayed for a lavish vacation. Back in Pittsburgh, I stare at the Carnegie Bridge photo, its strength mirroring my own. Nancy sketches the cleanup party plan, her pen scratching. "We'll invite everyone, Clara. Let Nathan face his shame," she says. Lauren nods, her hand on mine. "He can't hide anymore, Mom." Ava's eyes shine, her faith in me unwavering. Justice, I muse, starts with truth. I open my old answering machine, checking for messages, when a recorded voicemail from Kayla plays, her voice chilling. "We'll make Clara pay for this." My breath catches, my resolve stealing further. She thinks she can break me, but I'm no longer the mother who waits in silence. I cross to the sink, rinsing the coffee pot, the water cold against my skin. Lauren stands, her voice firm. "I was wrong to blame you, Mom," she says, her guilt easing into determination. "I'm here now." Ava scribbles in her notebook, her pen swift. "You're unstoppable, Grandma," she says, her smile a beacon. Nancy's story of her son's theft lingers, her strength a mirror to mine. "He left me with nothing but lessons," she says, her voice soft. "You've got more fight than I did, Clara." Their support wraps around me, a shield against Nathan's betrayal. The voicemail replays in my mind, Kayla's threat a dark promise. I walk to the table, the bridge photo catching the light. Nathan's desperation in St. Lucia grows, his pride crumbling under his friend's mockery. But I feel no pity. He hid $20,000 in debt, stole $15,000 from me, and called me a burden. My resolve is iron now, forged by his lies. I freeze his personal accounts with a call to the bank, my voice steady. It's a small victory, but it shifts the power. Was I their mother, or just a vault they cracked open? The question burns, raw and urgent, as I listen to Kayla's voicemail again, her voice chilling. What's their next move? Kayla's voicemail hisses through the answering machine. "We'll make her pay." Are they plotting to destroy me? Evening settles over my Pittsburgh living room, crickets chirping outside the open window. A Pittsburgh Bridge photo frame gleams under the lamplight. Its steel arches a silent promise of strength. I sit on the couch, the worn fabric soft beneath me, my hands clutching the phone still warm from use. Kayla's threat echoes James's warning in his letter, found days ago in his diary. Nathan's greed would hurt me. I see James's tired eyes, his voice low, cautioning me about Nathan's gambling debts we paid off years ago. My frugality, born of love, was for family security, not for Nathan to plunder. Resolve courses through me, steady as the bridge in the photo. Lauren paces nearby, her face fierce at 40. "They're heartless, Mom!" she gasps, hearing Kayla's voicemail. Her loyalty, forged through our reconciliation, burns bright. She's atoned for resenting my absence at her 16th birthday. Ava, my 16-year-old granddaughter, sits cross-legged on the floor, scribbling in her notebook. She hands me a note, her handwriting bold. "You're unstoppable, Grandma." Her eyes shine, seeing me as a hero, her love for my teaching stories anchoring her faith. I built this family, not their greed, I think, my voice silent but firm. Their support steadies me, but fear flickers. Kayla's words hint at retaliation. Nancy, bold at 64, spreads her planner on the coffee table, her gray curls catching the light. Her son's estrangement, a theft of trust and money, drives her resolve to help me. "We'll expose them at the cleanup party, Clara," she says, her pen tapping. I nod, my jaw tight. But Nathan's plea from yesterday, "You're a burden," stings. His entitlement, rooted in pride, blinds him to the pain he's caused. Kayla's threat, sharp as a blade, fuels my determination. I won't bend to their demands. In St. Lucia, Nathan slumps at a beachside bar, the turquoise waves mocking his desperation. His friends, all smug and tanned, sip drinks, their laughter cruel. "Just $10,000 for the hotel," he begs, his voice cracking. "Ask your mom," one jeers, smirking. Nathan dials me, his face flushed through the video call. "You're selfish, Mom." "Unlock the card," he shouts, his eyes wild. Kayla hovers, her lips curled, her silence louder than words. I stare at the screen, my heart pounding but my voice steady. "No, Nathan," I say, cutting the call. Their entitlement, stealing $15,000, hiding $20,000 in debt, enrages me, and the audience would feel it too, their greed laid bare against my sacrifices. Back in Pittsburgh, Nancy finalizes the party plans, her voice brisk. "We'll invite neighbors, friends, everyone who saw Nathan's charm," she says. Lauren nods, her hand on Ava's shoulder. "He can't hide, Mom," she says, her eyes fierce. Ava's note lies open, her words a spark. I cross to the mantel, the bridge photo steadying me. Courage, I muse, is heavier than fear. I call the bank, my fingers firm, and freeze Nathan's personal accounts, his name no longer tied to my trust. The act feels like cutting a chain, my empowerment a quiet roar. As I hang up, I notice a torn page on the coffee table, slipped from my photo album. It's a childhood picture of Nathan, his gap-toothed grin gone, ripped away. My breath catches, a pang of loss mixing with my resolve. Did he tear it himself, erasing the boy I loved? The missing photo, a small wound, hardens my heart. Ava watches, her pen still. "You're doing the right thing, Grandma," she says, her voice soft. Her loyalty, rooted in her love for my stories, strengthens me. I tuck the page away, my fingers steady. Lauren sits beside me, her face soft but fierce. "I'm here, Mom," she says, her reconciliation a lifeline. Nancy leans back, her planner closed. "My son left me with nothing but lessons," she says, her voice low. "You're rewriting yours, Clara." Their words wrap around me, a shield against the storm brewing. I glance at the bridge photo, its arches unyielding. Nathan's desperation in St. Lucia grows, his facade cracking under his friend's mockery, but I feel no mercy. He and Kayla, with their threats and theft, have pushed me to this breaking point. The cricket's chirp fades, a distant rumble of tires cutting through. I stand, my heart racing, and peer through the window. Headlights flash, a car screeching to a stop. Nathan's plane has landed in Pittsburgh, I realize, my pulse quickening. Can I face the son who tore my trust apart? The question hangs, sharp and urgent as the tires screech closer. Is he coming for me? Nathan's suitcase slams in my hallway, a thud that echoes like a warning. Will he beg forgiveness or curse me now? I stand in my Pittsburgh living room, the cleanup party after my 65th birthday humming around me. Grilled chicken scents mingle with Yinzer chatter, neighbors swapping stories of Steelers games. A soft breeze rustles the curtains, but my heart races. James's letter, found days ago, burns in my memory. Nathan's greed will hurt you. His words, written before cancer took him, saw this moment. Nathan's theft of $15,000, his hidden debts. I built this home with decades of sacrifice, giving up my teaching career for him and Lauren. Now I'm ready to expose him. The room buzzes, plates clinking as guests help clear party remnants. Nancy, 64 and fierce, nods from the corner, her gray curls catching the lamplight. Her own son's betrayal, stealing her savings, fuels her resolve to help me. "Truth time, Clara," she whispers, her eyes glinting. I take a deep breath, my hands steady, and step forward. "Everyone," I say, my voice cutting through the chatter. "I froze Nathan's accounts. He stole $15,000 from me." Gasps ripple, chicken plates clatter. Lauren, 40 and loyal, grips my arm, her guilt over past resentment now fierce support. Ava, my 16-year-old granddaughter, clings to her, eyes wide but hopeful. She idolizes my strength, her notebook full of my teaching stories. The front door bangs open. Nathan storms in, his face flushed, his tie askew. At 42, he's desperate, his pride unraveling. Kayla follows, her lips curled, defiant at 38. She resents my control, my frugality a barrier to her status. "You're useless, Mom!" Nathan shouts, his voice slicing the air. He snatches my photo album from the coffee table, James's pictures inside, and tears it, pages fluttering like wounded birds. "You ruined me!" he roars, scattering memories. Kayla sneers. "You're nothing now!" The words burn, a public wound that strips my sacrifices bare. Guests freeze, their faces shocked. My anger peaks, a fire against their cruelty, the audience's outrage mirroring mine. Lauren snaps, "You stole from her, Nathan?" Her voice is fierce, her redemption clear. Ava's hand trembles in mine, her hope shaken but holding. Nancy steps forward, holding James's letter. "Listen," she says, her voice bold, reading aloud. "Nathan's greed will hurt you, Clara." The room stills, the words a spotlight on Nathan's shame. Kayla's friends, lounging by the couch, laugh sharply, their mockery cutting deeper. "Broke and begging," one taunts. Nathan's face twists, his eyes blazing. My home, I think, deserves better than their lies. I spot a torn album page on the floor, Nathan's childhood notes scrawled in crayon. "I love you, Mommy." It's stained, crumpled, a ghost of the boy I raised. My breath catches, anger mingling with loss. Paul Evans, 60 and concerned, shifts nearby, his neighborly warmth ready to act. Susan Hayes, 58, watches, alarmed, her phone in hand. My resolve hardens, a vow to reclaim my dignity. I face Nathan, my voice steady. "You've taken enough," I say, my words a line drawn. Nancy grips my shoulder, her strength a mirror of mine. "My son left me broken," she murmurs, "but you're not." Lauren stands taller, her loyalty a shield. "We're with you, Mom," she says. Ava's eyes shine, her faith unwavering. Kayla's friends snicker, amplifying Nathan's humiliation, his fragile pride exposed. My anger shifts to resolve, a fierce determination to end this betrayal publicly. I won't let Nathan's greed define my home, my heart. The breeze slows, the chatter fading. I hold the torn page, its words a faint echo of love lost. Nathan's outburst, his destruction of James's pictures, isolates him, a subclimax that cements my stand. But his eyes blaze, his hand twitching, a threat unspoken. Did I raise a son or a stranger who despises me? The question cuts, raw and urgent, as I brace for what's next. Is he about to lash out? If your own child looked you in the eye and saw nothing but a burden, what would hurt more? The betrayal or how familiar it feels? We're about to reach the part I never thought I'd live through. If you're still with me, drop a 6 in the comments so I know I'm not alone in this. Nathan's fist clenches, his rage boiling like a Pittsburgh storm. Will he shatter what's left of our family? The living room of my suburban home hums with tension, the cleanup party after my 65th birthday spiraling into chaos. Yinzer slang peppers guest murmurs, talk of Steelers drafts and pierogi recipes, while a storm brews outside, thunder growling low. The torn album page from last night, Nathan's childhood note, "I love you, Mommy," lies crumpled in my memory, a ghost of his lost innocence. I see him now, 42 and unhinged, his eyes wild, hinting at a violent turn. I built this family through decades of sacrifice, giving up my teaching career, stitching our lives with care, and I won't let his greed tear it apart. Guests clutch plates of grilled chicken, their chatter stilled as Nathan looms before me. His face is flushed, his tie undone, his breath sharp with whiskey. "You're a leech, Mom," he yells, his voice slicing through the air. "You've always held me back." He pushes me, his hands rough, my shoulder slamming against the wall. Pain flares, but I catch myself, my skirt catching on a chair. Plates clatter, guests freeze, their gasps sharp. Lauren, 40 and furious, lunges forward, her eyes blazing. "Stop it, Nathan!" she shouts, her voice cracking with rage. Her redemption, born from guilt over resenting my absence at her 16th birthday, fuels her now, a shield for me. Kayla stands by the fireplace, 38 and smug, her manicured nails gleaming. "Let her fall, she's done," she laughs, her voice cruel, egging Nathan on. She sees me as a barrier to her status, my frugality a chain she wants broken. Nancy, 64 and defiant, steps up, her gray curls wild. "You're the disgrace," she snaps, her own son's betrayal, stealing her savings, emboldening her. Ava, my 16-year-old granddaughter, trembles beside Lauren, her braid quivering. "Grandma, please," she whispers, her voice small, fear shadowing her loyalty. She fears losing my strength, the hero she writes about in her notebook. I steady myself, my hand on the wall, thinking, I am not their victim. My resolve intensifies, a fire against Nathan's wrath, the audience's outrage swelling at his cruelty. Paul Evans, 60 and alarmed, shifts closer, his neighborly warmth ready to act. Susan Hayes, 58 and heroic, grips her phone, her eyes wide. The room feels smaller, the storms rumble louder. I face Nathan, my voice steady despite the pain in my shoulder. "You stole $15,000, Nathan," I say, my words clear. "You hid debts, called me a burden. You're done here." His eyes narrow, his jaw twitching. Kayla's friends, lounging by the couch, chuckle, their glee indifferent, amplifying his shame. Nathan's pride, rooted in past gambling debts I paid, crumbles, but he resists, his anger a desperate shield. Thunder cracks outside, mirroring the chaos. Nathan shoves me again, my back grazing the wall, a picture frame rattling. "You've got no right," he roars, his hands trembling. Lauren grabs Ava, pulling her back, her face fierce. "Leave her alone," she yells. Nancy steps between us, her voice cutting. "You've taken enough, Nathan." Paul moves forward, his voice firm. "You hurt her, son." Susan dials her phone, whispering urgently. I stand taller, my resolve unyielding, a mother defying her son's violence. My home, my heart, won't bend to his greed. I glance at the coffee table, spotting a folded note in Nathan's scrawl. "You'll pay for this." My breath catches, the threat a cold jolt. He left it here, a taunt amid the chaos, his intent clear. My fear flickers, but resolve surges, drowning it. I hold the note, my fingers steady, and meet Nathan's gaze. "Leave my house," I declare, my voice a command. "You're done." The words hang, a line drawn in the sand. Guests murmur. Yinzer phrases soft but tense. Kayla's laugh grates, her friend's mockery a cruel chorus. Nathan's face twists, his hand twitching, his rage a storm ready to break. Nancy grips my arm, her defiance rooted in her own pain. "My son left me nothing," she whispers, "but you've got everything to fight for." Lauren shields Ava, her protectiveness a fortress. "We're here, Mom," she says, her voice fierce. Ava's eyes, wide with fear, hold faith in me, her hero. Paul and Susan stand ready, community anchors in this tempest. My empowerment rises, a quiet roar against Nathan's wrath. His push, his insult. "You're a leech!" Mark my defiance, a main climax that escalates our confrontation. I've frozen his accounts, exposed his theft, and now I cast him out. The storm rumbles closer, rain tapping the windows. I hold the note, its threat a shadow of Nathan's greed. My resolve is iron, forged in his betrayal. Can a mother's love endure a son's violence? The question sears raw and urgent as Nathan raises his hand to slap me, his face twisted. Will he cross the final line? Nathan's hand swings toward my face, a blur of rage in the lamplight. Will his anger break me at last? Rain lashes the windows of my Pittsburgh living room, the cleanup party in disarray, a storm echoing the city's steel history. Sirens wail closer, their sharp cry cutting through the chaos. James's letter, found days ago, feels like a shield in my heart. Its words, "Nathan's greed will hurt you," arming me against this moment. My home, my legacy, built through decades of sacrifice, stands firm despite Nathan's betrayal. I gave up my teaching career for him and Lauren, poured my life into this family, and now I face his wrath, resolute at 65. Nathan's hand connects, a slap that stings my cheek, blood warm on my lip. "I wish you'd die, Mom!" he screams, his voice raw, his face twisted at 42. His eyes, once bright with boyish love, are unhinged, remorseless. "You forced me to this," he justifies, his breath heavy with whiskey. The words sear, a final betrayal that strips my sacrifices bare. Guests gasp, their plates of grilled chicken forgotten, the air thick with shock. I stand, my voice steady despite the pain. "You're no son of mine," I say, each word a blade. My heart breaks, but resolve peaks, a fire forged in his cruelty. The audience's anger would blaze here, Nathan's violence a stark denial of my love. Lauren, 40 and furious, lunges forward, her face pale. "You're a monster!" she yells, her voice cracking, her redemption from past guilt, resenting my absence at her 16th birthday, fueling her defense. Ava, 16 and devastated, sobs, grandma, her braid trembling, her loyalty shaken but clinging to my strength. She sees me as a hero, her notebook filled with my teaching tales. Paul Evans, 60 and heroic, tackles Nathan, pinning his arms. "Stay down," he growls, his neighborly warmth now steel. Susan Hayes, 58 and decisive, dials 911, her voice urgent. "Hurry, he's violent," she says, her phone shaking. Kayla, 38 and callous, watches from the corner, her smirk cold, viewing me as irrelevant. Her indifference egging Nathan on stokes the audience's outrage further. The sirens grow louder, red and blue lights flashing through the windows. The rain, a relentless drum. Nancy, 64 and fierce, steps beside me, her gray curls wild. Her own son's betrayal, stealing her savings, empowers her now. "You're free, Clara," she says, her hand on my shoulder, her voice bold. I nod, my cheek throbbing, but my resolve unyielding. I spot my teaching award on the floor, smashed by Nathan earlier, glass shards glinting beside a police report slip, its ink stark. The sight cuts, a micro twist that underscores his destruction. My award, a symbol of my sacrifices, lies broken, but I'm not. My home, I think, is my legacy, not his to ruin. Police burst through the door, their boots heavy on the hardwood. "Hands behind you!" An officer barks, cuffing Nathan. He struggles, his face red, but Paul holds firm. Kayla steps back, her smirk fading, her arms crossed. Lauren pulls Ava close, shielding her from the chaos. "I'm done with you," I declare to Nathan, my voice a quiet thunder. The words sever our bond, a weight lifting despite the ache in my chest. Nancy hugs me, her embrace warm. "You did it, Clara," she whispers. My heart breaks, but I'm whole, liberated from Nathan's hold. The subclimax, his slap and arrest, exposes his true nature, freeing me from his shadow. Ava's sobs soften, her eyes locked on me, her love a beacon. "You're so strong, Grandma," she whispers, her voice trembling. Her devastation, rooted in her faith in me, contrasts Nathan's cruelty. Paul and Susan exchange glances, their intervention a testament to community support. "We've got you, Clara," Susan says, her voice soft but firm. Their actions bolster my resilience, a reminder I'm not alone. I touch my cheek, blood smearing my fingers, but stand taller, my empowerment complete. The rain slows, the sirens fading as Nathan is led away, his head bowed, no longer my son. I cross to the fireplace where James's financial ledger rests, its pages heavy with our shared frugality. I carry it outside, the rain cool on my skin, and light a match, the flames rising in the dark. The ledger burns, ashes curling, a symbolic act of release. My heart aches for the boy Nathan was, but I'm done carrying his greed. Was my son ever mine, or just a thief in my heart? The question lingers, raw and piercing as the flames dance. What will the ashes leave behind? The Pittsburgh courthouse looms, its stone facade lit by flashing cameras. Can I face Nathan one last time? I step into the courtroom, my heels clicking on polished wood. The three rivers gleam through tall windows, their steady flow a quiet strength. Media buzzes outside, reporters murmuring about the son who betrayed his mother. I touch my cheek. The bruise from Nathan's slap faded but not forgotten. The ashes of James's ledger, burned last night, linger in my mind, a symbol of my release from Nathan's greed. At 65, I'm liberated. My sacrifices, decades of teaching given up for Nathan and Lauren, deserving recognition. Justice, I think, is my shield. I take the witness stand, my hands steady, James's letter folded in my purse. The judge's gavel falls, silencing the room. Linda Chen, my lawyer at 50, nods calmly, her professionalism a lifeline. I face Nathan, seated at the defense table, his face sullen at 42. His pride, once a shield for his gambling debts and $15,000 theft, has crumbled, but he's unrepentant. Kayla, 38 and bitter, sits beside him, her eyes cold, her manipulation undone. I clear my throat, my voice clear. Nathan stole $15,000, then my dignity, I say, holding up James's letter. My husband warned me of his greed. Cameras click, the rivers gleam steady, the words pour out, his insults, his slap, his betrayal of my love. My liberation solidifies, a beacon for the audience's empathy. Nathan's cold glare pierces me, his jaw tight. Kayla leans close, whispering, "You'll regret this." Her voice a venomous hiss. Their defiance, even now, evokes indignation, underscoring how they undervalued me. I meet their eyes unflinching, my heart heavy with sorrow for the son I lost but light with freedom. Lauren, 40 and proud, sits behind me, her hand on Ava's shoulder. Her redemption, overcoming guilt for resenting my absence at her 16th birthday, is complete, her support unwavering. Ava, 16 and inspired, beams at me, her notebook open, my strength her muse. Nancy, 64 and triumphant, grins from the gallery, her own son's estrangement a parallel to my victory. Her joy lifts me, a shared triumph of resilience. Linda steps forward, her briefcase crisp. "Bank records show $15,000 in unauthorized charges," she states, presenting the police report from Nathan's arrest. "Witnesses confirm assault." The judge's eyes narrow, the gavel poised. "Nathan Bennett, 3 years for fraud and assault," he declares. "Kayla Bennett, probation and a restraining order." Nathan's glare hardens, Kayla's lips purse, her whisper lingering like a threat. The audience's anger would flare here, their punishment a just reckoning for my pain. My sorrow for Nathan fades, peace settling in, a mother's love severed, but my spirit whole. As Linda gathers her papers, a court document slips out, its text catching my eye, a donation clause for my house. My breath catches, a micro twist sparking hope. I'd mentioned renting my home to Linda, but this clause suggests a legacy beyond my family. I tuck it into my purse, my fingers brushing James's letter, my resolve unwavering. The main climax, Nathan's sentencing and my testimony, marks my legal and emotional victory, redefining my strength. I stand, my skirt smoothing under my hands, free from Nathan's shadow at last. Outside the courtroom, Lauren hugs me tightly, her voice thick. "You're my hero, Mom," she says, her eyes shining. Ava beams, her braid bouncing. "I'm so proud, Grandma," she says, her notebook clutched close, inspired to write my story. Nancy laughs, her gray curls dancing. "You showed them, Clara," she says, her joy infectious. Her triumph, born from surviving her son's betrayal, mirrors mine. Linda joins us, her smile calm. "You did well," she says, her briefcase clicking shut. I feel light, free at last. The rivers flow, a quiet promise of peace. Lauren's redemption completes here, her guilt resolved through unwavering support. Ava's admiration grows, her pen ready to carry my courage forward. Nancy's parallel journey, rebuilding after her son's theft, adds depth, her laughter a celebration of our shared strength. I touch my purse, the donation clause a seed of something new. My home, built with James's love, might serve others, not just Nathan's greed. The courtroom's wood creaks as we leave, the media's buzz fading, Pittsburgh's rivers steady in their course. I step into the sunlight, the cameras flashing but distant. My heart carries a touch of sorrow. Nathan was my boy once, gap-toothed and laughing, but peace overshadows it. Did I lose a son or gain my freedom? The question settles, soft but sure, as I grip the donation document in my purse. Will this be my legacy? The donation form rests light in my hands. Is this the legacy I was meant to leave? I sit in my Pittsburgh kitchen, morning sun catching the faded blue paint outside. The form found in court yesterday promises a new purpose for my house. James's letter, read weeks ago, guides me. His words, keep the house safe. A whisper of his protective love. At 65, I've poured my life into this home, sacrificing my teaching career for Nathan and Lauren. Now, peaceful and liberated, I'm ready to redefine family beyond Nathan's betrayal. I sign the papers, my hand steady, renting the house and donating proceeds to a nonprofit for elderly women. I pack James's wedding ring, its velvet box soft. My home will help others now, I think. A quiet vow. Kayla's courtroom threat. "You'll regret this," echoes faintly, but this act resolves it, my strength clear. I feel the audience's empathy, a mother rising above undervaluation. I stack the papers, my heart light, Nathan's theft and slap fading like dawn's shadows. At Maple Grove, my new senior community, roses bloom in the garden, sunlight warm. Anita Sharma, 45 and kind, greets me with tea, her smile nurturing. "Welcome, Clara," she says, her care a gentle promise. Lauren arrives, 40 and grateful, her hug fierce. "I'll never leave you, Mom," she vows, her reconciliation healing past guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday. Ava, 16 and hopeful, reads a poem from her notebook. "You stand, a lighthouse through storms." Her voice shakes, her love for my teaching stories fueling her faith. I smile, her words weaving our bond tighter. Nancy, 64 and joyful, joins us, her gray curls bouncing. "You're unstoppable, Clara," she says, her own closure, after her son's betrayal, mirroring mine. We sit among roses, Anita refilling tea. Lauren's hand clasps mine. "I see you, Mom," she says softly. Ava's poem lies open, a testament to my courage. Nathan's sentencing, his cold glare, feels distant. My liberation deepens, gratitude for Lauren and Ava warming me. My family is here, in their love, not his greed. I walk to the garden holding James's financial ledger, its pages heavy with our frugal years. I light a match, flames curling, ashes scattering among roses. This act, symbolic and final, seals my liberation. Legacy, I muse, is love outlasting pain. I stand smiling free. Nancy nods, her piece found in mine. Ava snaps a photo, her eyes bright. Lauren's devotion, a silent vow, binds us. The rose's scent lingers, a promise of new beginnings. In my room, sunlight streams through. My laptop pings with an email from a stranger. Your story saved my life. My breath catches, a spark of connection. Another woman, betrayed by family, found courage in my trial's news. Tears prick my eyes, my heart full. I'm not alone, my liberation touching others. Was my home ever theirs, or mine to give away? The question settles, gentle and sure, as I open the email, tears welling. Who else shares my story? A stranger's email glows on my screen. Am I more than a betrayed mother? Maple Grove's garden shimmers, Pittsburgh's roses catching sunlight. Sunday church bells ring softly, blending with a piano's hum from the lounge. I hold James's wedding ring, its cool metal grounding my peace. His love, steady through our frugal years, lives in me. At 65, my journey, sacrificing teaching for Nathan and Lauren, enduring Nathan's betrayal, redefines family. I'm content, living for myself. I read emails from women, their words warm. Your story gave me courage. Bells chime and I smile, thinking, I'm not alone. Nathan's slap, his $15,000 theft, fades like a scar, evoking empathy but resolved by his sentencing. Peace envelops me, a strength earned through pain. These women, touched by my trial, show my voice reaches far. Lauren and Ava visit, their laughter bright. Lauren, 40, beams, her guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday healed. We're planning a picnic, Mom, she says, her devotion clear. Ava, 16, shares a school story about me. You're my hero, Grandma, she says, her notebook open, my courage, her muse. Nancy, 64, teases, You're a legend, Clara. Her closure, after her son's betrayal, echoes mine. Anita Sharma, 45, brings tea, her kindness nurturing. Their love, Lauren's bond, Ava's vibrance, Nancy's cheer, forms my new family. In the lounge, piano notes drift. Lauren's hand clasps mine. You're everything, Mom, she says softly. Ava reads. Grandma's strength lights the dark. Tears prick my eyes, their devotion my legacy. Nancy smiles, content. You gave me hope, she says, her resilience like mine. Anita's warmth binds us, a community I cherish. I walk the garden, James's ring in my pocket. Roses glow, bells fading. I chose myself, I whisper. Peace, I muse, is my gift. My arc closes, my strength quiet, my family redefined by love, not Nathan's greed. Did I raise them, or myself? The question rests, my silhouette steady in the garden's light. The stranger's email still glows on my screen, its words a quiet echo of my journey from betrayal to peace. In my Pittsburgh home, I faced Nathan's theft and violence, but found strength in Lauren's devotion, Ava's hope, and Nancy's fierce support, redefining my family at Maple Grove. Love, I've learned, isn't just what we give our children, but the courage to choose ourselves when they turn away. In life, family bonds can fray, yet compassion and community can mend what's broken, offering hope to others like me. If we listen to one another's stories, we find we're never alone. If my journey touched you, please share your thoughts below. Your voice matters.